Hey everyone, welcome to the It's My Time show. I'm your host, David Andron, the national recruiter for My Time Sports, along with co-host James Gamble from the Global Scouting Bureau. Hello, James. Welcome aboard.
How you doing, Dave? Good to be here.
Good, man. We've been pounding the pavements the last few weeks, seeing some good baseball and getting a lot of scouting in. It's nice to see baseball back in the full swing, with the COVID stuff last year shutting down. I know a few people are still battling through that. I talked to Doug Martin today, and they're shut down at Northwest Florida State Junior College in Florida. But for the most part, people are getting to play and we're getting to see a lot of baseball.
Yeah, I've been out, and all of our companies been out going to games. And, I tell everybody, wear the mask, whatever they want you to do. As long as we can play baseball, man, I'm thrilled. I don't make anything political. I just want to watch baseball. You tell me I got to wear a box over my head with binoculars. Let's play some baseball. These kids have worked hard. They've missed a lot. Let's get out there and play. So
that's right. But one thing I want to talk about today is what we call D1 or bust. You and I did write this book together. It's My Time, the recruiting process. And a lot of things we face every year is the D1 or bust mentality, both with the parents and the players. I think a lot of times ego and pride gets in the way of players making good decisions. Let's talk a little bit about that from your standpoint and touch a little bit about what we talk about in the book.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I see is there's this, especially in the South where we're at, is people assume you have to be a Division I athlete to be talented. And that's simply false, especially in today's world. With an increase in roster size, which we're experiencing, that's actually a decrease in opportunity. Okay, it has nothing to do. That's just the facts. And you're not really getting better when you're sitting on the bench so there's a lot of players that have made decisions because every player thinks they're going to go and beat the next guy out. And again, last week we talked about the Cliff Notes. It's because they're all living on the internet. They're getting little snippets of information. They think they have to be Division I, but really they need to be in the right place. Okay, in the right place where they can, get their education and get an opportunity to play baseball. Okay, playing is what is fun.
Right.
And they have to. And guys like Pujols, if you're going to end up being a major leaguer, Pujols been a big leaguer forever, made hundreds of millions of dollars. Was Division II ball player, played junior college, Division II. No professional scout went, we're not taking him because he's a Division II player. No, he's a stud.
Right.
Okay. There's so many players, again, a guy that works with us, Todd Self, walked on to Louisiana College, ends up playing Major League Baseball for the Houston Astros. Okay. Major League scouts are going after the tools and the guys that can play. Everybody has that dream, but in the meanwhile, the first stepping stone is make sure you go somewhere where you can play and compete and have an opportunity. And I think that's where the internet is killing it. So many families want to have that little blanket over a table and they celebrate it. And hey, this guy's committed there. If you actually track the number of guys that commit to a school, they go there and don't play. It's more than 75% of the early commits aren't playing.
Right.
That's huge.
Right. And like you said, it's no fun to sit the bench. It doesn't matter what jersey you put on. It might be off fun and games whenever you sign and sitting at the table and, with your parents, holding up that SEC jersey or ACC jersey or any Division I level jersey. But then when you got to go sit for 2 or 3 years, burnout's going to set in. You either want to transfer or give up the game altogether. I tell people all the time, we're trying to find the best fit for your child when we do the college placement. There's a situation where, if you're an outfielder, you might go to Division II or Division III school and be one of 5 outfielders. So, for 3 positions, you got to beat 2 other guys out. Whereas if you go to a Division I school, you might be one of 8 left fielders, and have 16 or 20 other position players you got to beat out for that position. So that's just not a lot of fun. I think, we need to educate the parents and the players on the importance of finding a good fit and not worrying so much about the pride and the ego of, going Division I.
Well, you said it. I think a lot of it is based on the tools and having the player have the ability to look in the mirror and truly know what tools he has and what he brings to the table. It's great to watch a major league game and they make it look easy. And just because the shortstop for the Cubs makes a play and throws a guy out, well, a lot of times parents and players, they're watching themselves at a high school game. Ball hits a shortstop, he throws the guy out. They can't see the speed difference.
Right.
They didn't see that the major leaguers, now they're starting to do a better job showing you that the shortstop threw 92 miles an hour across the diamond. But really, a lot of this gets into the tools that you need to possess to play at that particular level. And it's just bad self-assessment. So they're very excited to commit there without knowing, can I play there?
Right. Yeah, I was talking to a parent this week, and his son throws 85, 86, and has good command and good stuff, and he's a firm believer that he should be a Division I pitcher. And I try to explain to him, unless you're just lights out dominant, you got to be lucky to get into Division I if you're not throwing 88 or above consistently. And they want to always come back and compare to Greg Maddux, and they don't realize that Greg Maddux, when he got drafted and signed, he was a 90-mile-an-hour plus pitcher. Yeah. And he developed his game later on with his command and changed speeds and things like that. But to get in and get the exposure to get where he was, he started off throwing a lot harder than 86 miles an hour.
Sure. And look, I'm open, especially now. I'm a big proponent of junior college baseball, simply because if that kid, whoever it is, if he's that talented, he should go to junior college, go 10-1 with a 1.7 ERA. And you know what? He's going to be a Division I guy.
Right.
Okay. So, and he's going to pitch right away. A lot of parents don't understand, they're bigger, they're stronger. They also have some stock with the college coaches. And a lot of times when you're young, when you get an opportunity, you're really trying to fight for more opportunities. And the better you do, the more opportunities you get. But, they've got 35 plus players right now. They've got 16 to 18 pitchers right now. And, there's very few guys that can go in and just pitch, and I can think of a few. If you're Caleb Sorosky, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. And
it's tough because you have less margin for error. You almost have to be perfect because you don't have the blazing fastball. So it's not just being good. Your margin for error with a lower fastball is very, very small. And that's what velocity does. It gives you a little bit room for error because the hitters are a little bit better. Every hitter in college baseball was, a top of the order guy at their high school. You no longer have that 7, 8, 9 that loves the game of baseball, but they're doing it recreationally. They're doing it at high school, and there's no chance of them moving on.
Right. And speaking of Caleb, I saw UNO play LSU this past week, and he came in to throw some relief. And his slider is just phenomenal. It's unbelievable to watch the break on that pitch, and he's a lot of fun to watch compete. He gets up there and grinds it out, and he just knows how to handle the game. And it's a lot of fun to watch him on the mound.
No doubt. In fact, I start using it, the Sorosky effect, because he's that anomaly. And it's not a lot of them. People are going to say, oh, he's like this or like that. No, he's been this way for 5 years. I've watched him throw 50 times. When he gets on the mound, when he has a miss, he misses in the right zone.
Right.
He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And it's starting to show up. They're starting to buy into him as well. He's not your typical guy, even though he's an 84 to 87 type of guy, but he can throw 4 pitches at any time, anywhere in the zone. And he really, really competes, but it's very rare. He's not doing this at a high school level. He's doing this at a college level.
Right.
That's tough to do.
Right.
So
from there, let's talk a little bit about the 5 tools that scouts look for. We sit in the stands with our radar guns and stopwatches, and, parents are always asking, what does it take to play at that level? Let's kind of touch a little bit on the different tools and, what they can expect at each level.
Sure. Well, the 5 tools, and I know we're going to mention the 6th one, which in my opinion, I think yours too, is the most important, but every scout that goes to a game, whether it's a major league scout or a recruiter, they're looking at, players' foot speed. Okay. So that's one of the tools. They're looking at their arm strength. That's one of the tools. They're looking at their ability to hit. That's one of the tools. They're looking at their ability to play defense. That's one of their tools. And they're looking at their raw power, or now they're calling it power production. How does their raw power play in a game? Now, with each one of those, there's ways to measure it, okay? They're looking for how fast does he get down the line, how fast his 60-yard is. The arm strength, they're looking at velocity, which is what we're using with the radar gun. But all of these are just tools. And the reason I say that is you can give me the best hammer. It doesn't make me a carpenter, okay? I can't build anything. Right. But a lot of the parents focus just on that. And you can have tools, but you have to know how to use them as well. The biggest thing that I like is the 6th tool, which is the compete tool, the it.
Right.
And it's one of those things that drives the whole tools because, the guys that even have gotten to the big leagues, the Altuves, they had it, that compete tool. Now, it drove them to run fast. They kept getting up because when you're 5'6", 5'7", you're not getting the looks. You have to be special. You have to have an exposure rate. They're not showing up at your ballpark going, golly, I really look for short guys that, no, they're not looking for that. Day in, day out, those are your grinders. And when I say grinders, a lot of people think that's a bad thing. That's a great thing. It's what gets you up in the morning and says, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to catch the guy in front of me. I'm not just practicing when my team practices. I'm going above and beyond. And those are guys that they normally sign late. They're not the highest recruited players, but they end up being the most loved at the next level.
Right. And when we're out scouting these games, I want to talk to the players a little bit. They don't realize how much we pay attention to everything, every aspect that they do. If we're going to look for foot speed, we're looking every time you come out of the box from home to first. You hit a ground ball back to the pitcher, routine ground ball to shortstop, you still need to bust it from home to first, full speed. I see a lot of that. If they don't get a base hit, they're jogging, but it wastes our time. I press the stopwatch. It's a waste of my time. I just put a X by your name because I didn't get a foot speed for that play.
Well, and every time that we go to the ballpark, what our scouts do is they normally go and introduce themselves to the coaches. Because as you know, right now, none of the Division I schools and the four-year schools can go to these high school games.
Right.
We do it some just to let them know that there are people watching. The players feel like nobody's there. And it's a pet peeve of mine that sometimes I go to a game and I see 5 at-bats and I never get a foot speed. Man, I'm looking on these sites, seeing that the guy can really run, but I'm getting a 5.3 down the line, which is terrible.
Right.
And I'm going, look, I can't talk to anybody. I can't confirm anything. Coaches are calling saying, what do you have on this guy? Man, he can really run. And I go, I can't tell you. He didn't run when I was there. And it's very hard when you create a bad process. It's hard to get out of it.
Right.
Okay. And a lot in baseball is about creating good routines. And every high school coach I know says, give me a hard 90. Okay. Give it all the time. I mean, you're not playing 162, 63 games. You're playing what? 26 games?
Right.
You do the math. I'm asking you in a 2-hour period of time, 3 to 4 times, run hard. If you say you want to be a college player, or you're that guy that's got, on the internet with all these cliff notes, you're showing all your tools. Well, dang, man, show it when we're there. Let every coach know you got it.
Yeah.
If you got a cannon, let me see that cannon.
Right.
If you got foot speed, show me you can run.
Catchers as well. A lot of times
Absolutely.
I'm going to get pop time between innings because you might not see them, throw out a runner all game, but between innings, they always get one throw that they get to throw down. And I see a lot of catchers just go through the motions and don't take it serious. And it's just a waste of time.
Yeah. If you saw how many times I'm looking and seeing and guys calling me with their 1.8 pop times, and I'm going, guys, 1.8 is major league catching. Okay.
Right.
All of these people that are putting up their 1.8 and these, it's not real. We want to see in game. You want to get the in between innings, but if they're 1.8, it's not looking for college recruiting. These are guys are about to be, Pudge Rodriguez.
Right.
Okay. A good catcher is throwing 2 flat on the bag consistently, but yet every day, come see this guy. He's a 1.74, and I'm thinking he better be Puerto Rican, and he better, come on. This isn't realistic. And I know I'm making people mad when I say that, because there's some good catchers out there, but that's why I don't like the internet. I mean, here you go. This catcher throws a 1.8. No, he doesn't.
Right.
He's an uncommitted guy with a 1.8 arm. No, he's not.
Yeah.
They got him one time and they got him wrong, and he ran out halfway to second base to throw it.
Yeah.
Give me a batter and an umpire in a real game, and you show me a 1.8. He's committed, man. Somebody wants him.
Right.
So.
Right. And be consistent. And, for the pitchers too, I mean, a lot of times when the catchers are throwing down, the pitchers, lob a ball in there and don't even give them a good opportunity to have a realistic throwdown. So, pitchers take care of your catchers. If they're throwing down, come set, like you got a runner on base and throw a good fastball in there for them to get a good read and a good throw on, so we can get a good accurate reading on their pop time.
No doubt. And I kind of feel, I talked to some high school coaches today. What I feel is, this year they missed a lot last year. So a lot of the sophomores that became juniors, that they missed some of the development that they're getting in high school or should get. So on the whole, the game's kind of behind, not because of the ability, but from the baseball IQ, the coaches working, on, hey, run hard every day, get good leads, focus, and so many little things when I go out there. In fact, the majority of the games that I've personally seen, it's about, even though they're playing 7 innings, I see teams that are good for 5 and they fall apart. And you'll see a 9-3 or a 10-1 score, but it was a really good game for about 5 innings. the high school coaches are frustrated, but a lot of this is just because they didn't have as much time to teach.
Right.
So I kind of take up for the high school coaches because, these players didn't get that opportunity. And even in the summer, there wasn't as much, with the whole COVID, they weren't getting the opportunities they normally would.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Another thing I look at whenever I'm at the games is again, the mental side of it. Of course, I'm a certified sports psychology coach. So, I take a lot of pride in that. But, before that, I see so many naturally physically talented players that never advance to the next level because they lack it right here between the ears. And I see a lot of that this year. I've been out to games and, somebody strikes out in the first inning and, carries it with them to the field and they're making an error and, the snowball effect just rolls over. And, I see a lot of people focusing on, all the physical tools, but they really lack the mental side of it. And, I've seen maybe a handful of kids that can actually handle the failure of the game of baseball. And the mental side is so important, guys. I'm telling you to get focused on it and, really try to focus on training the brain to compete at a high level.
Well, with that being said, I'm going to give you some props here. I just got your new book, or one of your books that was out there. It's The Challenging Road to Success. And what I like so far, I haven't finished it, but you kind of give a plan. And the things that I like is you touch on tracking, okay, how you measure yourself, and you're giving them a routine. You're putting faith in their life, which is one, okay, but you're also giving them a personalized plan, and then you're telling them to be able to track yourself. And that's where it goes back to last episode where we talked about the Cliff Notes. So many people are just looking for this shortcut,
right,
and there is not one. And hey, if you want a shortcut to the big leagues, please call me on the phone, call you, tell me. I'm happy to learn, but there is none. Right. You have to work hard. You have to look in the mirror. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to wake up and grind every single day. And if you don't have that passion for getting after it, you're not going to succeed. But it's not just the physical. It's the mental. I mean, right. I don't know if you're getting this. I have a lot of, not just high school, but in college, when a player gets an opportunity and let's say he doesn't perform well. So the next game, he doesn't get playing time. Well, then I hear what they're saying is the reason that they're failing, which to me is an excuse. Right. Which is I'm lacking opportunity. So I'm trying to educate the player on every time you get an opportunity, you're vying for future opportunities. Okay. You're trying to perform and you have to mentally prepare for that instead of saying, well, I only get in at bat in the 7th inning. You saw I took a negative approach. I read your books and there's another way is, hey, I can't wait to get that opportunity. Watch what I do. Right. Now I just changed it into a positive. And I think a lot of guys don't have a routine. They're right. just reacting. Hey, Johnny boy, you're in the game. They grab their bat and they go up there. They take 3 cuts. There was no preparation. There was no plan. There was no routine. There was no visualization. You're going to fail.
Right.
Okay. You have to learn. You have to go through failure. And then you have to have that plan, that process, then the execution. And that's not just in baseball. That's in life.
Right. Right. One reason I wrote that book, The Challenging Road to Success, is, I was a victim of success. I mean, I've had a dream to go and, coach and play at the highest level that I could. I was able to play college baseball and football, moved on to coach at the professional level. I mean, I was 26 years old coaching minor league baseball and, felt like I was on top of the world. But I lost focus on getting better. I thought I had everything, I was living the good life, lost focus on my family. I lost focus on my faith. A few years later, I came crashing down and I hit rock bottom. And, that's what that book is about. I mean, it's about, focusing on your physical success, your mental success, your spiritual success, and your personal success. And, I can't tell you how many rich and famous people that I know and I've seen that are not successful, not happy. They're miserable. Sure. Just because they have some financial success, that doesn't mean they're successful human beings. What I try to talk about in that book is just how to be a successful human being. And like you said, be positive about everything. I hear a lot of people at baseball saying, oh man, I got to go pick up equipment, man. I have to go do this. I have to go do that. No, you get to do that. That's awesome. You're still playing the game. I get to go pick up equipment today. I get to go rake the field. I get to play the game, make it a positive. Don't sit there and, go, oh man, I have to go do this today. Keep it as positive as you can. And baseball, I mean, every sport and in life in general.
Sure. Well, again, I think a lot of where we're at, and by no means am I the judge here, but we got to look in the mirror. I mean, a lot of times it's the woe me world rather than saying, wake up, you got to play with the cards that you've been dealt. Let's make the best of it. Go get you some. We all have the same opportunity as far as hours in a day. It's how we choose to live those hours that defines who we are.
Right. Right. Have the earn it mentality. You know, there's see a lot of players that think everything's owed to them. You know, I did this, or I know this person, so I'm owed that. You know, no, go and earn it. You know, I tell my kids all the time, you know, nothing's going to be given to you. You have to work for it. You know, you and I talked about it before. I mean, you know, we grew up together, and you had to go and cut grass to go to baseball camps. You know, your parents wouldn't just give you the money. You had to actually get out there and earn your way. So, you know.
Well, I also know you've been around some good people, because already in the book, I've seen Carpe Diem, and that goes all the way back to when we were in high school and seizing the moment, seizing the day.
Right.
That was something that our high school coach, Lud Henry, brought to us, which was teaching us. I see some of the stuff you've learned from being around Quint Studer, which is one of the healthcare leaders in the country and such a wise person that, you know, I've had the pleasure of meeting. You have as well, and he mentored you, and you know, just learning from them, it helped change our lives and who we are.
Right.
And we're learning from their mistakes as well. And that's why I did think it, you know, the parts that I've read, I haven't finished it, but it's a really good read, not just for players. But in that being said, not just that book. Last week or last episode, we talked about Cliff Notes. I encourage every player to start reading, okay? Not the Cliff Notes. They can only take you so far. You need to have good academics anyway. Dive in. Go full speed. I mean, learn the mental side, you know, the mental master training that you have. Dive in. And instead of going 0 for 3 and being negative, you know, we have to turn that around. The world's going to tell you to flush it. How? Okay, that's some of the stuff that I know you're talking about and that you're bringing to the table is, you know, how do I do it? Because I know I've failed before. How do you get back up? And when I go around to high school, I see it, the college players. I mean, it pains me to get some of the text messages from really talented players that turn around and when I'm 0 for 3, I'm probably going to sit. Well, look. Unless they change their attitude, they're going to sit a lot, okay? Right. They're going to sit a lot. So they need it, but enough players aren't diving into that mental side. That's why I'm saying, hey, download it, get involved, read the book, you know, reach out, let people try to help you understand that you can achieve. But you got to get the right mindset. You really do.
Yeah. I tell them all the time, I actually have a Zoom call, a sports psychology call with a college player after we finish with this show tonight. And you know, the first thing he said is, you know, I was 0 for 5 this weekend. You know, I really struggled. And I tell him, you know, don't focus on the end result. Focus on the process. Out of those 5 at-bats, how many balls did you hit hard? And if you didn't hit any hard, then we have a problem. We have to focus on some techniques and some, you know, fundamentals and, you know, mental things like that. But if you hit 5 balls hard and you just went 0 for 5, it's not a bad weekend, you know, and coaches will see that. Just, you know, focus on the overall process and forget about the results.
Well, yeah, I see it a lot, and, you know, I won't stay on it, but a lot of times I'll see a guy go 0 for 4, but he laid into the ball, and the next thing I see is people are going into a cage trying to tweak something. He didn't need to tweak anything. You know, he doesn't need to change a thing. He needs to keep swinging the bat. They're gonna fall.
Right.
But they're focused on that batting average,
right.
or things that are going to be a result, but they need to stay focused on that process. They look in the mirror and say, no, my swing is good. I got my pitch. I drove it and went to somebody. Because if you keep doing it, the flares are going to fall. It's going to balance out in the long run.
Right. And I hate to say it. I mean, when I'm out scouting, I see a lot of coaches at the high school and the college level that need the mental training as well, because they destroy their players mentally. You know, some of them, you know, a kid will hit 3 fly balls to center field, but he's right on them, just barely missing the barrel. And next thing you know, the coach is telling him, hey, look, you're dropping your shoulder. No, he's not. He just missed the barrel. He had 3 beautiful swings. You know, he just missed squaring it up. And then secondly, you know, I see high school and college teams that have a different lineup every game. And, you know, these kids are so mentally messed up because if they go 0 for 3, the next thing you know, they're down at the bottom of the lineup or out of the game. You know, it doesn't allow them to get into a rhythm. You know, these college teams are playing 40, 50 games, you know, and we're halfway through the season or, you know, quarter way through the season. And some of the colleges haven't even had the same lineup for a whole series. You know, so, you know, coaches, I recommend that y'all get in the mental side as well, because you need to learn how to develop your players and build some chemistry and, you know, build some confidence in them, because, you know, that can make or break your season, you know.
Sure. Well, and you're absolutely right. The thing that that I look at now, how the game has changed at the college level, is it's really not about development, because these college coaches they're hired to win. Okay. They're hired to win. And now you have RPI, and you don't get the chance to develop. So when that player goes in, he's vying for respect and trust. So like what you're saying, I'm trying to get everybody from a playing standpoint that, yeah, sometimes you're put in bad situations, blossom where you're planted. Okay. Show me that you can do it. Now, is it tough? Yeah, it's tough. If you're that freshman and they give you the ninth inning at bat, well, that's tough. You may be facing a closer throwing 93 with a nice slider. Well, this is where you get respect. You come up, barrel it up. That coach is going to build respect. He's going to bring you in more times. So I think sometimes the coaches are a byproduct of the system that we're looking at, which is, if you don't win, we're going to get somebody else here that can do it. You don't know how many times I hear people on radio shows calling for somebody's head because it's all about the win. And it's really tough. That's the industry we're in. They used to not have all this RPI and in high school power ratings. And, if a coach doesn't play the right guy, they've got 12 parents going to an administrator trying to get him fired. And I'm thinking, wow, a lot of this is a result of they can't look in the mirror. Not the coaches. That kid has been playing and he's got 27 trophies. He was a super major, whatever player. He's got 9 rings, and he's never really had to compete and get cut or not make it or sit the bench. And that's where I go back to, they don't know the tools.
Right.
And they can't identify what the tools are. And at the end of the day, it's not the best 9. It's the coach's best 9 that plays. A player has the job to earn the coach's respect.
Right.
He's there every day. It's not the coach's job just to like, hey, you're really good, I like you. No, it's an earned thing.
Right.
And a lot of parents, and again, I hope not all the parents don't get mad, but when you own it as a player, that's each and every day. It's not going home to your parents and saying, oh, I did good at practice. Because a lot of times that third, the player knows what happened. He goes home and he reports to the parent the positives. He doesn't say, oh, yeah, by the way, I made a D in chemistry. I got called out for talking too much in class, had to run laps around the baseball field. No, he leaves that part out.
Right.
That coach is in their life. And that's why I'm big on saying I think there needs to be more collaboration, open dialogue between college and high school coaches, between guys like yourself and the college and high school coaches, on how can we all work together to provide an environment that, where everybody can continue to develop while understanding the coach has to win.
Right.
But a lot of these players don't understand that. They think they're getting screwed by the coach, but they're not. I probably had 5 calls today, my coach, and I'm going, guy, you see how you're putting it on someone else. What I want you to know is that you've had 10 opportunities, okay? Little or big, or when they had them, you had 10 opportunities. Now, what I need you to say is, okay, what are you hitting? Yeah, but it's because, no, what are you hitting? I want you to own your batting average. I want you to own your ERA. I want you to own it all. Stop putting it on the coach. You had the opportunity. Right. Now, when you get your next one, I want you to be prepared. Rather than when you don't see your name in the starting lineup, you're sitting on the edge of the bench, you're whining and you're crying. Parents are mad. They're making phone calls to me saying, let's get him out of here. And I'm saying, hey, own it. You're going to get an opportunity. When you get in the game, I want you to be ready. Show me something. And it doesn't have to be a hit. Coaches understand the tools that we're talking about. And I'm going on a limb saying every college coach knows the 5 tools that I just put out there, and the 6th one. Right. Maybe we define it, but every one of them knows it and they want it. They're just not in a position to always call things out the way we are because, well, I'm not going to get fired.
Right.
You can't fire me. So I can sit here and tell you, suck it up, buttercups. Let's go to work each and every day. It's a process. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days, but you control your attitude and you control your effort. You do you. Okay. Right. Let the coach do the coach. And you prove it to him. It's your job to earn his respect.
Right. So that's one thing I preach a lot of is just, make the best out of every situation because, especially in sports, but also in life, bad things are going to happen. You're going to have to go through adversity. In my mental training book, I talk about, my first year as a high school coach, somebody came up to me because we wasn't very talented and said, it's all right, coach, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken poop. And that was what motivated me. The rest of my career, I focused on trying to make a good situation out of something bad. And, I came with that reputation over the last several years as the coach that can make chicken salad out of chicken poop. And it's not that I'm a miracle worker or anything like that. It's because I focus on the mental side of the game and I connect with each player individually and the personalities, and I make the parents understand what the process is. And, it makes good things happen. It was easy to say, oh, well, I don't have any talented players this year. We're going to sneak it up. No, we didn't have any talented players. I was going to focus on developing talented players and figure out if we had to bunt and play small ball the whole game, or, I would find out the best way to make it happen, and, not transfer the blame on anything else, and just focus on getting better every day.
Well, they have many books out there, man, like Surrender to Win. Sometimes you got to surrender to win, and that means getting rid of your pride and your ego. And it's tough. I mean, the one thing that the game of baseball will do, and life will do it as well, is it'll humble you up.
Right.
You've been through it. I've been through things where you think you're the captain of the ship, but hey, you're just a co-pilot at best.
Right.
And when you get too big for your britches, and whether it's a baseball team that's going undefeated and they think they're the number one team, they end up playing a non-ranked team, and payow. I mean, it happens. I saw it happen this weekend multiple times. That's what I love about the game. You get another opportunity the next day to get back after it. So
no doubt. All right, James, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back in a second with the Who Is That section, and we're going to talk about some of the top players that we've seen over the last few weeks. Gotcha. Be right back. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the It's My Time show. I'm host David Andron, again with co-host James Gamble, and we're going to start the Who Is That section. Every week we go out and scout as many games as we can, high school, junior college, and college games, and we get to see some great baseball players in the area. And we just want to kind of touch base on a few of them that we've seen over the last few weeks. First, I want to start off with Garrett McGowan. He's the first baseman at Pitt State University in Kansas. He's a player that, he was an awesome junior college player, all conference junior college player at Dodge City Community College, went on and signed with the Division I school last year. And it didn't really work out for him. He wasn't going to get the amount of playing time. They had another first baseman that was going to be playing for the next 2 years. So, he would get limited time at best there. So he transferred to Pitt, and, his first week there, he's the conference hitter of the week, hit a couple of home runs. He's, just lighting it up offensively, and it's just a great fit for him. And, I'm happy that he's having some success there. This second person I want to talk about is Zeph Hoffpower. Same situation. He was a guy, he's a freshman that signed with the Division I school, and, was compete against a lot of players and would just have split time, and decided to transfer to Pensacola State Junior College. And he's lighting it up. I know last time I checked, he hit 5 home runs. He might have more now, but he's swinging a big bat. And, the junior college conference and the Panhandle Conference is SEC of junior college baseball. I mean, it's one of the best in the country, and to see him doing well in that type of atmosphere is really, really great for him. And I know, James, I know you know a little bit about him as well. So I think he's a player in your program for the summertime.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got all the tools, and I'm glad just to seeing him get opportunities. He controls his future now. So I'm excited for him. He's got big power. He can really move. He can play in the outfield. He can play first base. He did. And now he's getting to play every day. So I like the fact that he's playing every day. I think it's good for him.
Awesome. Yeah. Another player that I want to talk about is a freshman college player at the University of Houston, Samuel Benjamin. He's swinging it well. He hit his first home run last week, and he's got a lot of tools, man. I like the way he runs. He handles himself really well. I think he's got a chance to be a big time player, whether he stays at Houston or, moves on to pro ball later on. I think he's got some tools that really play at a high level, and he's going to be a lot of fun to watch the next few years and see what happens. Absolutely. Two LSU guys I want to talk about just to give them some props is, Gavin Dugas from Homer Christian. He's swinging it well. He hit a 2-run bomb in the 12th inning the other night to give them the comeback win from UTSA. It was exciting to watch. He started pointing to the dugout as soon as he hit it to tie the game, and it was a lot of fun. And then another one is Mitchell Sanford, which I watched him take BP at UNO the other day when I was scouting, and he hit one off the scoreboard opposite field. He's got a lot of tools and just a good looking frame. He's got a solid arm. He doesn't get a whole lot of playing time right now, but I think he's going to get some good chances here in the future. He just swings it really well and hit his first home run the other day, and it was exciting to watch. I'm happy for him to see him having some success there at LSU. And I know you know Mitchell as well. I mean, he's a player.
Well, I do. I know a lot of the guys on your list, and absolutely, whenever you talk about a Dugas, you talk about a Sanford, the majority of people out there don't know how talented these guys really are. Every one of the guys that are on LSU had multiple opportunities. Okay. This is the highest level of college baseball. And now with things that are going on, it's almost like playing A ball. That's the level that they're facing, maybe even high A, day in, day out. So, for these guys, when sometimes parents or people will get on the phone and they're saying this guy's hitting 180, and they don't know the level. I mean, you're facing some dudes now, man. I mean, these are really talented players, and I'm just excited when guys get the opportunity and they do well, because I know how much these guys put in working to be at these levels. So really excited for them.
And again, talking about the mental side of it, it's fun to watch these guys compete mentally, because a lot of players in the 12th inning, when you're down 2, in a big stage like LSU, they would panic and, overswing or try to do things too hard. And Gavin just settled right in and, really came up clutch and in a big time situation. So, being able to handle that pressure and perform under that pressure is a big compliment to him mentally.
Oh, man. And look, let's be honest, LSU has a lot of dudes. I mean, They really do. So I'm really happy to, these guys got a chance to show off a little bit and get their time. It feels really good for them. So.
Right. All right. Let's talk about a few high school players as well. I want to talk about Caden Fontenot, catcher from Archbishop Hannon. He's sophomore, 2023 grad. I really like him behind the plate. He hit a grand slam the other night against Hammond. Archbishop Hannon has some players. I mean, I really like a few other guys on their team. I think we'll be talking about a few of them here in the future. They got a chance to be pretty good. They have some 2021s and 2022s that can really play. And of course, Caden's a 2023. And I think, he's got a chance to be a D1 or high end type player. Todd Anderson is a kid from Conroe, Texas, 2022 grad. And I mean, he's just an animal at the plate. I mean, he swings the bat and has some serious exit velocity. He hit a 2-run home run this past week, and I see good things for him as well. He can play it defensively, and he really swings a good bat. He's in a great program too with the Banditos baseball organization out of Houston. Absolutely. They're always putting up good players, and he's going to be a lot of fun to watch here in the future as well. Another Texas kid, Tanner Hales from Vidar, Texas, or Vidar High School out of Beaumont, Texas. Defensively, he's as good as they get behind the plate. I mean, he's a catch and throw guy, and I just dare you to run on him. I mean, he's been phenomenal, and he swings the bat pretty well. He's an average, high school hitter, but behind the plate is where he really shines, and his arm strength and quickness, and like we talked about earlier, having that pop time, but that consistent pop time. I mean, he's on the money 99% of the time. I mean, it's pretty impressive. All right, and the last player I want to talk about is the first baseman, power hitter, Chandler Easterling from Franklin Parish High School. He can just swing it. He plays a solid first base. He can pick it. He's got some opportunities. I know he went on a few visits up in Kansas. He went to McPherson College, and he has a few other visits lined up. I talked to a few other college coaches on his behalf this morning. So he'll have some opportunities to play at, junior college or, NAIA Division II, Division III level. But he's fun to watch. He can swing it, just a big, powerful first baseman. So, that touches on the guys that I saw this past few weeks. And, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the guys on your list as well. I know you saw a pretty good bunch as well this past few weeks.
Well, we've seen so many. So for anybody that I'm leaving out, I apologize, but I could talk for 2 hours on guys that have stood out here and there. Right. I'm going to go through a few that I think should get some attention. The Brady Weatherford out of Pineville. You're talking about a big guy that can really drive the baseball, also get on the mound and pitch mid-80s. You're talking about a third base, first base, power is really looked upon. So I know he's going to be a committed player here shortly. It's just a matter of him staying focused. A lot of these guys are panicked with anxiety because they haven't committed yet.
Right.
And if they only knew the amount of calls, not just me, you're getting them, but I can tell you there's more teams looking for players than we have players to fill those spots.
Right.
Now it's a matter of matching them up. And most of the players, when I'm talking to the uncommitted players, they are so panicked that if they don't sign by tomorrow. And so I openly say, all those people that are putting that stuff out on the internet and those cliff notes, they're absolutely wrong.
Right.
Relax, guys. Blossom where you planted. Focus on today. Keep being the best version of you can be, and things are going to be okay. From him, I'm bringing up, Grant Mangrum, which is committed to Eunice over at Sterlington. The only reason I'm doing it, he had a great week. One of our guys, Todd Self, which played Major League Baseball, is out watching the players, and he didn't hit a home run. He had a couple of home runs, and his game is starting to come together. So Eunice is lucky because this guy is going to become a man. Right. Okay. And he's playing on a really good team. There's 4 or 5 players that stood out, but he had a really good week. So I'm throwing him a little attention right there. Bo Primo, he's the 22 LSU commit. I mean, anybody that's going to knock him is crazy. You're talking about a lefty that's got plus stuff. He's upper 80s right now, and you can just see it, tell it. I don't care if he loses a game. I know the whole world's going to go, if I got a hit off of him, that means I should play at Mississippi State or I should play at Ole Miss. No, this dude's for real. He's good. He's going to be fine. He's at Central. I'm throwing out another uncommitted, Hayden Shoemaker, 6'1". He's from Ruston High School, but he's a lefty. He's not committed yet. He runs well, but he's got some pop, and it's starting to come together. And again, this power production, when you have a guy that has power, he can run. He's starting to put it together. It's not late. He's actually coming together on time. So what he didn't commit 2 years ago, it's irrelevant. I can name guys that committed 2 years ago, and they're not at the school they were at. Some of them aren't even playing. Right. So this guy's going to be on time. It's going to work out. Ethan Menard had a walk-off home run from Notre Dame. He's committed to BRCC. And I just say that because those moments, regardless of the level that it happens at, you're going to remember them for your lifetime. Right. I think you've got some of these videos, and hopefully you show them because, it's a big moment, and they will remember it for the rest of their life. One of the guys that I'm bringing up, and it was because of what we're talking about earlier, is Sam Pete. He's a guy that was from Opelousas, OCS, a private school. He actually had Division I teams on him, and he chose to go to Millsaps. How great it is. He's really hitting. He's playing every day. He hits the big home run, and I'm going, you know what? He's happy. Now, had he made that decision to go to a Division I, maybe he's not as happy. Right. So, anybody that wants to talk to him and his family on why they made the decisions, man, I'll connect them. There's too much focus on this whole Division I. It should be find the right opportunity, okay, where you can play, where you can develop, where you can get your education. Remember, it's college baseball. It's not Major League Baseball. Right. Okay, it's college baseball, student athlete, okay, and a very slim percentage is going to move on. And if you have those tools, they're going to go get you no matter where you're at, man. They're going to find you.
Memories, the memories you make at a college baseball program, college athletic program at any level are going to be memories you could cherish for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be Division I to go and have a good 4 years and, fun and a lot of cherishable memories.
Well, and on that, I'm going to talk about Christian Collier, that he was recently at San Jack, arguably the best junior college, okay, but he was going to get limited time. Okay, they were willing to let him go. I spoke with his family, and for me, I tell a lot of people, why are you trying to buy stock when it's high? You want to buy it when it's low and then sell it when it's high. Well, he found the perfect opportunity. He's at L.B. Wallace. Last week, he was the player of the week. He didn't hit a home run or 2 home runs or 3 home runs or 4 home runs. I think he hit 6 in the week. He was the player of the week. He hit 3 against LSU, which is the #1 Division II team in the country. Now, it's not just colleges going in. It's Major League Scouts flying in to go see him because he's got all the tools. But guess why they're going to see him? Because he's playing every day. Right. That's what. Great decision. Kudos to you and your family for making good decisions. Kudos to San Jack to being open and honest and allowing him. Kudos to L.B. Wallace for bringing in a guy like that. That's, he's their guy. And then the last guy I'm doing just because, man, I get to go see a lot. And, some of the tools that everybody's chasing for, it's just a tool. And you got good games and bad games. But, Levi David, I was up at Northwestern. I got to see all their guys, and they've got some really good arms, good players. The Jonathan Harmon, which he's going to be a dude next year. He's a dude now. But Levi David, I heard about him, got to see him. But the day I was there, you're talking about a 6'5", 220-pound guy, draft-eligible sophomore that was legitimately 94, 95, hit some sixes. I've heard he's been up to 97. I heard rumors of what he does and doesn't have. He filled it up, and he was throwing an 85-mile-an-hour slider on the money. He repeated, and I went, here it is, man. This guy is he's definitely a next-level guy. Guys are going in to see him. He's going to get popped this year. Keep working hard. Keep living right. Win or lose, keep grinding. Dude looked really good. And there's a lot of that out there. We just don't have the time to go into every single player that's achieving. Right. But we will in the future. We'll keep naming more. Yeah,
we keep adding them to the list. And, I mean, yeah, like you said, we could talk for 2 hours just on players we've seen just in the last few weeks. So, well, guys, if you want some more information, again, pick up our book, It's My Time. It's full of information on the college recruiting process, all the divisions, the D1 or bust, how social media can mess up your chances of playing at the next level. Stuff about your visits. I mean, a lot of valuable information in this book. Also, you college guys that are looking to move on and play after, just because the draft has been cut down and, there's limited options with Major League Baseball now. Doesn't mean there's not opportunities to play, professional, international, or independent ball. And James is coming out with a new book that's going to be released here in the next few weeks called Getting Paid to Play. And I was able to read it last week just as a beta reader and proofreader for him. And it's got some great information and some awesome opportunities. So if you're a college player and, looking to play past college, you want to pick up this book when it comes out in a few weeks. And James, I'll let you talk a little bit about it if you like.
Yeah, well, I was glad to do it. I've spent 24 years in the industry and traveled all over the world doing it. And very few people actually understand the baseball side. They feel like it's Major League Baseball or bust, but I can go on and name players that started independent, international, ended up in the major leagues. You need opportunity, okay? Now, you're not going to get rich doing it a lot of times, but I'm really big on giving opportunities. And whether it's in Europe, okay, where a guy gets to start, whether it's playing independent baseball, as long as you're playing, you have a chance, okay? And there's so many success stories. The Edward Ramirez that got to the big leagues. The dude was living on the streets out in Florida looking for an opportunity, played independent ball, then in 1 year went A-ball, AA, AAA, big leagues. Oh, yeah, for the New York Yankees. So when they say you can't, you can. It's been done. There's no more first. But nobody knows where to go. That's kind of what we've been doing over the past 24 years. It's just trying to match you up with the right place. There's 23 countries that we have contracts with. If you're a high-end guy that's played AAA, a little bit of Major League Baseball, we've had guys going into Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Mexico. These are the high-paying places. So we're trying to educate. That's why I want people to read more, is a lot of college players go, I want to go to Japan. Well, that ain't going to happen, okay? Right. That's not viable. But you could go into independent ball. You could go into Europe. You could potentially get into Italy. You need to know your heritage. There's so many loopholes that can be, beneficial to you to know where you're from. If you're Italian American, if you're German American, if you're two ancestries ago, look, get an opportunity to play. There's a lot of college coaches that, some of them actually came through our company, and they went and they played in Italy, and then they went back and they were a graduate assistant, but on their resume they played 2 years in Italy or one in the Czech Republic, and that's how they ended up moving up. And for me, if you love the game, play it as long as you can. Right. Okay. And you're getting paid. The only thing we talk about is the leagues that pay you. I'm not an advocate of the 27-year-old paying $1,500 to go. Nope. That's like playing summer ball now. Right. I'm talking about professional sports where you're getting paid. That's your occupation, the lifestyle. And that's what we kind of lay out to again, like bust some of the myths that people are hearing.
Right. I know, I spent a few years coaching independent professional baseball, and it was some of the best times of my life. I mean, the memories and the friendships and family members that I met over those years is unbelievable. And, I'll remember that forever. I recommend anybody that can play at that level to go give it a shot, and, you'll have a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth it.
Well, I know you're going to have to add something, because I'm going to throw out to Brad Haynes, which is an actor that we signed many years ago. The dude's like a legitimate actor now.
Actor, right.
And not only him, he brought in one of the guys that works with us, Sammy Terrera's getting a little set time. And, kudos to him. This dude was him, and I believe he had a brother that played as well. Really good. Loved the game. You can't take it away. And now he's a successful actor. And guess what? He's playing a part in? A baseball movie.
A movie,
that
right?
Hopefully a lot of people go and watch it. And, whenever you're doing this and getting it out, please put a link or, let everybody know to where to go to follow that, because it's coming out. And his name's Brad Haynes. And
Yeah,
so,
I tell you what, Brad, I coach Brad, and I tell you what, one of the most humble players I've ever seen. Just a great, great human being. I mean, he had some tools. He could run. He could swing it with power. But off the field, he was just a phenomenal person. And I'm glad to see him successful in another field. Since he didn't get to reach his dream of playing Major League Baseball, but he's doing some great things on screen, and that's exciting. And Sammy sent me a picture this morning of him on the set with Brad.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. So it's fun to see. Well, next episode, guys, we're going to start talking about exposure, how to get out to the college coaches and pro scouts, and we're going to talk about some of the facts and the myths of camps and tournaments and showcase teams and things like that. To try to help with having some good exposure, that you're not spending a whole bunch of money wasting away for stuff that's not actual factual information. So make sure you check our next episode when we start talking about the exposure and the college camps and the showcase camps and the showcase tournaments and things like that. James, you have anything to add?
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say is I'm going to continue to say dive in. Read the book. It doesn't have to just be our book or the book that you put out, but I encourage you to read those books. Parents, kids, stop the Cliff Notes, okay? The Cliff Notes are only snippets of information, very misleading. I promise you, when you go to a doctor, he didn't read Cliff Notes. When you get on a plane, he didn't read Cliff Notes. When you go to your attorney, he didn't read Cliff Notes. If your goal is to be a professional person, okay, so I'm not just talking in baseball, get more than the little 5-second blurb that's put out there. Read the book, dive in, learn the process. There's a lot of people out there giving little snippets, but they're not able to give you the full information. Dive in, get the information, be accountable.
Right.
So provide them a link, let them go and download it. Log into now there's apps that are out there, the Middle Master Training, the It's My Time. Get the apps, log in, do something productive, own your career.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep. We'll be back next week. And, every 2 weeks we put out a new episode, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dave.